The starving eyes in the alley. The rain was cold and dirty. It fell on broken roofs and flooded the streets of Corval 7, a poor alien city near the edge of the galaxy. The smell of metal, oil, and garbage filled the air. Marcus, a human trader, walked quickly through the narrow alley. He had been here many times, but this place always made him uneasy. His hand stayed close to his sidearm. He wasn't looking for trouble, but trouble always found people like him. He passed silent stalls, broken machines, and buildings made of scrap metal. The sky above was dark red. This world was forgotten by most. No humans lived here. Marcus was probably the only one in miles. Then, he stopped. Something moved in the alley to his right. He turned slowly. His boots splashed in a puddle. The light from his helmet lamp hit something. Something small, eyes, glowing, pale, watching. Marcus stepped forward carefully. He didn't draw his weapon yet. A child stepped out of the shadows. Thin, pale purple skin. She was shaking. Her bones were visible through her skin. She didn't wear shoes. Only a torn cloth hung from her shoulders. Marcus froze. Another child came out. Then another. 3 of them. All alien. All very young. They said nothing. Before Marcus could speak, a voice came from the shadows behind them. "Please, don't hurt them." It was soft, tired, a woman's voice. She stepped out. Tall, slender, alien. Her skin was light blue, her long hair dark and messy. Her armor was broken, old, and didn't match. 1 boot, 1 bare foot. Her left arm was wrapped in cloth, stained red with blood. She held nothing. She didn't look dangerous. She looked like she had nothing left. She bowed her head low. "My name is Vera," she said. "These are my children. They haven't eaten in 3 days. Please, human. Take them." Marcus was confused. Take them? Feed them. Help them. Save them. He looked down at the children. Their eyes were big and full of fear. One of them was holding his stomach. His legs were shaking. Marcus asked, "Where is their father?" "Dead," Vera said. "He died in the last war. The council called him a traitor. Since then, no one will help us." Marcus didn't know what to say. He had helped people before, but this was different. She wasn't begging for money. She was offering her children. Then she said something that made him step back. "If you want, might take me too." "What?" "Take me, as your servant, your mate, your worker, whatever you wish. Just, please, don't let my children die." The rain poured harder. The wind picked up. Marcus looked around. The street was empty. No one else was watching. He looked into her eyes. She wasn't lying. She meant every word. Marcus took a breath. "I'm not looking for a wife." "I know," she whispered. "But if you claim us, if they think we belong to you, then maybe they'll leave us alone." He looked down again. The smallest child was now sitting on the ground, too weak to stand. Marcus made a choice. "My ship's not far," he said. "Come with me." Vira's eyes opened wide. "Truly? Get up, quick, before someone sees us." She picked up the smallest boy in her arms. The other 2 children followed Marcus closely. They walked through dark alleys, past broken lights and rusted machines. When they reached the old scrapyard near the edge of town, Marcus stopped at a small ship hidden behind metal walls. He pressed a button on his wrist. The back ramp opened with a hiss. "Go inside," he said. Vera stepped in. The children followed. The lights inside the ship were soft and warm. Marcus locked the door behind them. He gave each child a food pack from his supplies. They ate without speaking, tearing the wrappers with their teeth like wild animals. They were too hungry to care. Vera stood by the wall, watching silently. Marcus turned to her. "You didn't have to offer yourself." "I did," she said. "No one helps widows, not without a price." He looked at her. I'm not like them. I know, she whispered. That's why I asked you. The ship was quiet. Outside, the rain fell harder. But inside, for the first time in many days, the children were warm, safe. And Marcus didn't realize yet that his life had just changed forever. The widow's shame. The ship's hum filled the air with a low, steady sound. Marcus sat at the small table in the corner of his ship's living area. A cup of hot tea steamed in front of him, untouched. He watched as the 3 alien children slept on a soft mat nearby. They were finally full, their small chests rising and falling with calm breath. Vera stood in the far corner, her back to the wall, her arms folded across her chest. Her armor was off now. She wore a long cloth tunic Marcus had given her. Her body was thin, too thin, covered in bruises and scars. She looked like someone who had been through 100 battles and lost every single one. But her eyes still burned. Quiet fire. You said your husband was a traitor? Marcus asked carefully. Vera didn't look at him. That's what they call anyone who speaks the truth. He waited. She sighed. He was a war captain, brave, feared. One day he found out something dark. He tried to warn others. He recorded the truth. But before he could share it, they came for him. They killed him in front of me. Marcus sat forward. What did he find? She looked at him now. Her eyes were tired, but sharp. They were taking children from the outer colonies, poor children, sick ones, orphans, for testing. Marcus froze. What kind of testing? Pain, fear, death. They wanted to find out how far the body could go before it breaks. They said it was for science, for progress. A cold silence filled the room. Vera looked down at her sleeping children. One of my sons, he was taken. We got him back, but he was never the same. He still has nightmares. Sometimes his nose bleeds for no reason. Marcus leaned back, his mind racing. And they're still after you? She nodded. They think I have the recording. My husband hid it, I don't know where, but they think I do. That's why they won't stop. And offering yourself to me? Marcus asked quietly. Vera's face didn't change. In my culture, a widow without a mate has no protection, no honor, no place. If others think I belong to you, they might leave us alone. That's wrong. It's survival. Marcus looked at her, long and hard. And if I said no? I would understand, she whispered. But I had to try, for them. She sat down across from him, lowering her voice even more. I'm not asking for love, or even kindness. I just need a chance for them to grow up without fear. Marcus looked back at the sleeping children. He remembered being young himself, cold, hungry, lost during Earth's own wars. Maybe that's why this cut so deep. They already call you something, Vera said softly. The little one. He called you Papa before he fell asleep. Marcus didn't know what to say. Vera stood up and walked toward the sleeping area. She gently covered her daughter with a blanket. Then, without turning around, she said, I know you're not like them. I saw it in your eyes. Marcus stayed silent. Something in his chest tightened, but it wasn't fear. It was duty, or maybe something more. A dangerous offer night had fallen over the scrapyard. Marcus couldn't sleep. He sat in the cockpit, watching shadows move across the city skyline from a distance. Corval 7 was always restless at night. Sirens, screams, and bright flashes filled the darkness. But tonight felt heavier, like something was coming. He checked the scanners for the 3rd time. Still no ships nearby. Still no movement. But he knew better than to trust silence on a planet like this. In the back room, the children were sleeping again, tired from a full stomach, soft blanket, and warm air. They had barely spoken since arriving. They didn't need to. Hunger had taken their words long ago. Marcus got up and walked into the storage area. Vera stood alone near the wall, sharpening a blade with a metal file she found in his tools. "You don't rest much," he said. She didn't stop. "Rest is for those who are safe." Marcus leaned against the wall. "You know they'll come for you." "I know," she said simply. "I have a small ship, no heavy weapons. I can't fight. A squad. If they come hard, we're done." Vera stopped sharpening. "Then we don't wait for them." She looked at him. "I need to ask you something, Marcus." He raised an eyebrow. "Go ahead." "If they come to take me, if they kill me, will you protect the children?" Marcus didn't answer right away. That question wasn't fair. That responsibility was too big, but then he saw her eyes. No fear, no tears. Just truth. "Yes," he said finally. Vera nodded once. "Then I will tell you something no one else knows." She opened the inside of her armor and pulled out a thin, black shard. It looked like a piece of glass. Marcus leaned closer. "What is that?" "It's a key," she said. "To the truth." She placed it in his hand. It was warm. "My husband found out something. The council was funding secret programs. They wanted to create perfect soldiers. Not just with training, but by experimenting on living children. Poor ones, abandoned ones, even some humans." Marcus's eyes widened. "What?" "Your kind was taken from destroyed colonies. No one noticed. No one cared. They were test subjects. If this information spreads, everything changes." "Then, why haven't you used it?" Vera looked down. "Because I don't have the full recording. My husband hid it. He gave me this shard but said the real data is locked behind a code only he knew." Marcus asked, "Do you know where he hid it?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, on a desert moon. But I haven't dared go there. Too many eyes on me. Too many hunters." Marcus looked at the shard. It was small, but it felt heavy in his hand. Then, a beep. The ship's sensor lit up. Motion detected. 4 figures. 50 meters. Moving fast. Marcus and Vera both moved. He grabbed his blaster. She slid 2 knives into her boots. "How did they find us?" Marcus asked. Vera's eyes narrowed. "They always find me." They ran to the cockpit. Outside, red lights blinked through the rain. 4 dark shapes moved through the scrapyard. Their footsteps quiet, their weapons drawn. One of them scanned the ship with a glowing device. Marcus swore. "They know we're here." Vera gritted her teeth. "We fight. Quietly. We can't wake the children." Marcus looked at her. "Are you sure you can still fight like before?" She didn't answer with words. She opened the ship's side hatch, slowly, silently, and vanished into the night. Marcus watched on the screen as her figure moved like a shadow, fast and low. Thunk. One of the enemy dropped, knife in his throat. The others turned. Too late. Marcus stepped out and fired. A clean shot. 1 down. The third one aimed at him. Vera came from behind and snapped his neck clean. The last enemy ran, but she chased him, silent and deadly. A moment later, he was down too. Marcus stared at the mess. 4 enemies. All gone in less than a minute. Vera stood in the rain, breathing slowly. She wiped the blood from her blade and walked back inside. Marcus closed the hatch. Then he looked at her. Really looked. "You were trained," he said, "not just as a warrior. You were something else." She nodded once. "I was Shadowborn. I used to kill for the council, until I found out what they really were." Marcus understood now. She wasn't just a widow. She was a weapon, and someone was scared enough to kill her quietly without warning. The firefight in the slums. The city was burning. Smoke rose from the lower districts of Corval 7. Sirens screamed in the distance. Bright flashes lit up the night sky. Someone had started a gang war, or maybe the council had sent strike teams to sweep the slums. Either way, it was chaos. Marcus and Vera ran through the back alleys, staying low and fast. They had left the children with the ship's security lock engaged, hidden deep in the scrapyard hangar. The plan was simple: cause confusion, draw the hunters away, then return before anyone found the kids. But plans changed fast on Corval 7. Now they were being hunted. 3 bounty hunters had followed them from the ship, heavily armed, professional, paid well. "They're splitting up," Marcus said, glancing at the scanner in his hand. Vera didn't stop running. "Good. Makes them easier to kill." They turned into a half-flooded street full of broken lights and collapsed market stalls. The air smelled like smoke, oil, and blood. Suddenly, bang! A shot rang out. A plasma bolt zipped past Marcus's head and burned through a rusted beam. He hit the ground fast, rolled behind a crate, and returned fire. Vera, already ahead, leapt over a shattered cart and through a small blade. Thunk! It hit a hunter square in the arm. He screamed and dropped his rifle. Marcus finished him with a clean headshot. "2 left," Vera called out, breathing hard. Another figure appeared on a rooftop above, aiming down at them. Before Marcus could react, Vera ran straight for a stack of crates, jumped, climbed, and met the attacker face to face. A loud struggle followed, then silence. She dropped his body to the street below. 1 left. They moved quickly now, cutting through the burning alleys, avoiding drones and panicked locals. The last hunter was smart. He didn't chase. He waited. They found him waiting near a bridge behind a plasma shield, a long rifle aimed at the street. Marcus stopped. "He's ready for us." Vera pulled out her last throwing knife. "Then we make him shoot first." Marcus peeked from me, cover, and fired 2 quick shots, 1 high, 1 low. The hunter returned fire instantly. Boom! The street cracked under the blast. While he was reloading, Vera moved. She dashed across the bridge edge, feet silent, body low. The hunter saw her just too late. She slammed into him, knife flashing, and the shield shattered in a burst of light. Marcus ran to her side as the man dropped. Blood covered her arm. "You're hit," he said. Vera shook her head. "Just a graze." He helped her up. "We need to go," she said, voice low. "They're not done yet." They cut back through the smoke-filled alleys. The fire had spread to nearby towers. Drones buzzed overhead, scanning for targets. "Someone set this all up," Marcus said. "They wanted a war to hide the hunt." "Good," Vera said. "Let them look everywhere else." They reached a narrow tunnel entrance hidden behind an old water tank. Vera limped slightly now. Blood dripped from her side. Inside the tunnel, it was dark and quiet. Safe for now. Marcus helped her sit against the wall and started wrapping her wound. "You didn't have to take the hit," he said. "You're carrying the shard," she whispered. "You're more important now." Marcus stared at her. "No, we both are. You and the kid. That's the reason I'm still doing this." Vera looked at him, surprised. "Why? You don't owe us anything." He tied the bandage tight. "Maybe not, but I saw the way you looked when they ate their first meal. That wasn't a warrior's face, that was a mother's." She said nothing. "I've seen men walk away from their own blood," Marcus continued. "But you were willing to give yourself away just to keep your kids alive. That means something." Vera looked down. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "You don't have to," he replied. "Just help me end this." She nodded. Outside the tunnel, the city screamed, but deep underground, something new was being born. Not just survival, a partnership, maybe even a family. Flight through the stars. The ship shook as Marcus lifted it off the surface of Corval 7. Outside, the slum city was on fire. Explosions, smoke, screaming alarms. The council's troops had arrived, hunting someone, maybe them, maybe someone else. But Marcus didn't wait to find out. He pushed the throttle forward, rising above the flames and dirt. Vera stood behind him, steadying herself as the ship trembled. Her shoulder was bandaged, her armor scratched, but her eyes were still sharp. She didn't speak as the world below got smaller. She just stared at it in silence. "Everyone's on board," Marcus said. No trackers, no damage. We made it. Vera sat down slowly in the co-pilot seat. Her arm was shaking slightly. You didn't have to come back for us. I know, he replied. They flew into the upper atmosphere. The sky turned dark, then black. Stars filled the view, and the flames of the city disappeared behind a dusty blue cloud. In the back room, the children huddled together. They were tired and scared, but alive. The youngest child, the sick one, held onto his sister's hand. His skin was pale. He coughed softly in his sleep. Vera heard it and looked down. It's getting worse. Marcus asked, Is there a cure? There's no cure for what they did to him, she said quietly. Only a chance. A chance? Marcus turned toward her. She opened a pouch on her belt and pulled out something small. It was a necklace, not fancy. Just a thin silver cord, with a strange circular token on it. Alien letters were carved into the surface. She held it out to him. What's this? He asked. Vera looked him in the eyes. A bond token. In my culture, it means you're part of my clan, my protector, my chosen. Marcus blinked. You're serious? She nodded. If the galaxy believes we are mates, no one can legally touch us, not even the bounty hunters. They'd risk war with the human worlds. I thought it was just a lie to protect your kids. It was, she said. At first, but you stayed. You fought beside me. You shielded them. You didn't ask for anything. That changes things. Marcus held the token in his hand. It was warm. He looked at her face, still fierce, still proud, but different now. Softer. This isn't about love, she added. This is about choosing a future together. A real one. He nodded slowly and slipped the necklace around his neck. Then, I'm yours, he said. For a moment, Vera said nothing. Then she whispered, and I'm yours. Later, as the ship flew through open space, Marcus set a new course. Where are we going? Vera asked. You said your husband left the recording. On a desert moon. Terran 6, right? She sat up. You're taking us there? Yeah, he said. You want to stop the council? We'll do it together. You, me, and the kids. She smiled slightly, something rare on her face. Terran 6 is dangerous. No rules, no cities, just ruins and bones. Sounds like home, Marcus said with a grin. She laughed, just once, softly. The children came forward as the ship entered deep space. The older girl sat beside Vera. The little boy crawled into Marcus's lap. He didn't push him away. He let the child rest his head on his chest. The boy mumbled a word. Papa. Marcus looked at Vera. She nodded. The child was too tired to understand what had changed, but he felt it. This man wasn't just helping. He had become something more. Far behind them, on Corval 7, soldiers searched the ashes of a burned scrapyard. Report was sent to a high-level agent of the council. Target escaped. Data shard still missing. The human is now bonded. The reply came cold and fast. Track them. Kill the widow. Take the child. Destroy the human if needed. But aboard the small ship flying through the stars, a new family was forming. A family the galaxy would learn to fear and never forget. The past revealed. The ship floated through deep space like a ghost. No planets nearby, no ships in sight. Just silence. It had been 2 days since they left Corval 7. 2 days of peace. But peace couldn't hide pain. Marcus sat by the medical bed watching the youngest boy sleep. His name was Kale. His chest rose and fell in short, weak breaths. His skin was pale and strange blue veins showed under his skin. He didn't eat much. Didn't talk. He's getting worse, Marcus said quietly. Vera stood behind him. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking. I know. Marcus looked up at her. You said they did something to him. During those Experiments? She nodded. They took him when he was just a baby. My husband got him back, but they had already injected something into him. A virus, maybe, a drug. They were testing how young bodies reacted to fear. Marcus clenched his fist. They used a baby for testing? They used hundreds, she said softly, from different planets, poor families, orphans, and some weren't even aliens. He turned toward her. You mean humans? Yes, she replied. Your people too, some from broken colonies, disappeared without a trace. I've seen the proof. Marcus leaned forward. Tell me everything. No more secrets. Vera sat down across from him. My husband was once one of them. Not a subject, a soldier. A loyal captain of the Council's army. He followed every order. Until one day, he was sent to destroy a rebel camp. But when he arrived, there were no soldiers there, only children. Marcus said nothing. He didn't follow the order. Vera continued. He helped them escape. After that, everything changed. He started digging, asking questions, and what he found, it broke him. She pulled something from her belt pouch, a thin silver cube, small and fragile looking. He recorded a secret meeting. Council leaders talking freely about the experiments, about the deaths, even laughing about it. She handed it to Marcus. This is just the trigger, she said. The real files, the proof, are hidden. He placed them in a vault on Terran 6, a place only I know. Marcus looked down at the cube. If this gets out, he said, the galaxy will burn. Vera nodded. That's why they want me dead. That's why they hunted my husband. That's why they want Kale. He looked back at the boy. He's not just your son. He's a survivor, living proof of what they did. Vera's voice dropped. He might not live much longer. Marcus stood. Then we don't wait. We go to Terran 6. We get the data. We show everyone. She stepped in his way. It's not that simple. He stared at her. Why not? Because Terran 6 isn't just a desert moon, she said. It's cursed. It's a place where warriors go to die. It was once a council testing ground. They abandoned it, but their traps, their security systems, they're still active. Marcus didn't blink. Then we disable them. Vira shook her head. No one ever comes back. He placed a hand on her shoulder. We will. She looked into his eyes. You'd risk your life for this? For Kale, he said, and for every other child they buried in silence. A pause passed between them. Then Vera leaned forward and whispered, There's one more thing. Marcus tilted his head. My husband said the access code for the vault is hidden in pain. In pain? Yes, she said. He tattooed the code on himself. Before he died, he knew they'd come for him. He wanted the message to survive. Marcus swallowed. Do you know what it is? I remember part of it, but we need to scan his bones. His body was buried in the vault of dust, deep inside the ruins of Terran 6. Marcus turned toward the cockpit. Then that's where we go. Back in the sleeping chamber, Kale coughed again. The older sister wiped his forehead. Papa will fix everything, she whispered. Outside the window, the stars drifted by. But ahead, something waited in the dark. Something buried, something deadly, and something true. The final stand and a new family, Terran 6, looked dead from space, a dry, broken moon circling a forgotten planet. No cities, no green, just sandstorms, sharp mountains, and ruins from another age. Marcus stood at the front of the ship, staring at the surface below. Behind him, Vera was strapping weapons onto her belt. Her face was pale, her wound still healing, but her hands were steady. Are you ready? He asked. Vera nodded. I buried him here, my husband. If the code is still with his body, we'll find it. And the vault? Deep inside the old fortress, it was once a warrior temple. Then the council turned it into a lab. They called it Project Dawnfall. Marcus glanced back at the small cabin. The children were still sleeping. Kale's breathing had become shallow again. His time was running out. They had no more chances, no more safe places to hide. This was it. The ship landed on a stone plateau, surrounded by wind-carved cliffs. As the ramp opened, hot wind blasted in. Sand whipped across their faces. The air smelled like dust and ash. Vera stepped out first. She didn't flinch. Marcus followed, carrying the scanning device. He looked around. "Where's the entrance?" Vera pointed ahead. Half buried in the sand was a giant stone doorway marked with ancient runes, the symbol of the warrior clans. They made their way across the sand, boots sinking with every step. When they reached the door, Vera placed her hand on the carved surface. "It only opens to those who carry warrior blood," she whispered. A soft click sounded. The door groaned and slowly slid open, revealing a long, dark hallway inside. They stepped into the shadows. The inside of the fortress was cold, dry, and quiet. Their footsteps echoed. Faded symbols lined the walls. Some were prayers, others were warnings. Marcus checked his scanner. Energy spikes ahead. There are still active systems inside. "Traps," Vera said. "The council left them behind." They moved carefully, avoiding pressure plates and sharp floor cracks. Suddenly, a turret dropped from the ceiling and fired. Marcus pulled Vera down. The bolt hit the wall above. He rolled, aimed, and shot back, destroying it in one blast. "That was a warning," he said. Vera stood up. "They'll get worse." It took them an hour to reach the underground tomb, a circular chamber made of black stone. In the center lay a stone coffin sealed shut. Vera knelt beside it. She placed her hand on the surface. "I never had time to grieve," she said quietly. "I was running the moment they burned our home." Marcus placed the scanner on the coffin. "Let's see if he really left us the code." The machine beeped as it searched. Vera stood and pulled a small tool from her belt. She used it to cut open the stone. Slowly, carefully, inside was a preserved body wrapped in a warrior's cloth. Her husband. Marcus scanned the skin. The scanner beeped again. Then words appeared on the screen. Code. 472 Ash Rise Fang. Vera covered her mouth. "It's real." Marcus didn't speak. He helped her reseal the coffin. Then they stood in silence for a moment. "For him," she whispered. "And for Kale," Marcus said. They made their way toward the vault. The scanner guided them through the lower chambers until they reached a final steel door. It was built into the stone, locked tight. Marcus typed the code. 472 Ash Rise Fang. The door slid open. Inside was a small glowing platform and a black cube sitting in the middle. The real data crystal. Vera picked it up slowly. "This holds everything. Names, dates, files, the truth." Marcus reached for his comlink. "We send it now," but just then, boom. The ground shook. The wall behind them exploded. From the dust, a figure stepped out, tall, armored in black, with a red visor glowing. The bounty commander, Kravax. "We warned you, widow," he said in a low voice. "But you didn't listen." Vera pushed Marcus behind her. "Run!" "No." Kravax raised a pulse cannon. "Give me the cube." Marcus raised his blaster. "Come and take it." Kravax fired. Marcus dove to the side. The blast missed, but barely. The room shook again. Vera charged, blades in hand. She struck fast, left, right. But Kravax blocked with an energy shield and kicked her back. Marcus fired again, hitting Kravax in the leg. The hunter growled and turned to him, but Vera jumped on his back. She screamed and drove her blade deep into the armor joint near his neck. Crack! Kravax roared in pain and fell. Vera stood over him, panting, covered in dust and blood. Marcus rushed over and picked up the cube. "We have to go. Now." They ran through the halls as alarms sounded. Traps activated behind them. The fortress began to collapse. Outside, a storm had started. Lightning flashed across the sky. They reached the ship and flew off just as the stone plateau crumbled behind them. Marcus raced to the comm station. He connected the cube. "Sending now." The files uploaded, all of them, to every public network, every pirate frequency, every rebel satellite, images, videos, audio, test records, victim names, everything. Back in the sleeping cabin, Cale opened his eyes. His breathing was still weak, but something had changed. He looked at Marcus. "You came back," he said softly. Marcus sat beside him. "I told you I would." Vera entered and held her son close. "You're safe now," she whispered. "We're all safe." 2 weeks later, the galaxy was on fire. Riots, protests, council members, arrested or in hiding. Whole systems calling for justice. The truth had spread like wildfire, and the name Marcus Graves was now known across starspace. Not just as a human, but as a hero. They found peace on a small moon, far from war. A quiet house near a blue lake, clean air, open skies. Vera taught the children how to grow food. Marcus built a small workshop. Cale began to smile again. One evening they sat together under the stars. Marcus looked at the family beside him, Vera at his side, Cale asleep on his shoulder, the others laughing nearby. "You ever think we'd make it?" he asked. Vera smiled. "No, but I hoped." He took her hand. "You gave me something I didn't know I needed," he said. "And what's that?" she asked. "A family." She leaned her head against his. "And you gave me something I never thought I'd find again," she said. "A future." They sat in silence. Above them, stars moved slowly. Behind them was pain, war, secrets, but ahead was hope. The end.